cheat on your wife with mine, I will burn your life to the ground. Mark said it quietly in the garage. Cold rain tapped against the metal roof. His wife Sarah moved through the kitchen upstairs. The smell of coffee and soap filled the morning air. The children Lucy and Ben played with toy cars on the floor. They spoke often about sleeping at Grandma's house. That house was 90 minutes away in another county. Mark frowned each time he heard it. Sarah said her parents missed them, but her eyes never matched her words. He began writing her mileage in a small notebook. Every evening after she parked the car, he crouched beside the wheel and checked the odometer. Week after week the distance grew. 400 extra miles. Same gas station receipts. Same faint perfume on her jacket. He waited without speaking. One night the computer screen glowed in the dark. A sticky note sat near the keyboard. Her AOL password in neat blue ink. He typed it slowly. Inside her inbox were letters to a college friend, lines about hotel rooms and long lunches, laughter about an old boyfriend from high school, mocking the man's wife for gaining weight after children. The words pressed through his chest like metal. He printed every message quietly, placed them in a folder behind the tool drawer. A few days later he called an old friend from the police. The man gave him a number. Ron, a private investigator with calm eyes and gray hair. Ron asked for dates, times, photos if any. Mark handed him the emails and waited. Within a week Ron returned with pictures. Sarah dropping the kids at her parents', driving to a small diner off Route 17, lunch with the same man each time, then the cheap motel behind the gas station. 3 hours later she drove back to pick up the kids, her smile bright as if nothing had happened. Mark sat in his truck for a long time. Rain streaked down the windshield. He called his lawyer the next morning. He remembered his parents shouting through thin walls. He promised himself never again. Ron kept digging. The man's name was Bob, married 3 children, vice president of sales at his father-in-law's firm, a big house and a white SUV. Mark took notes without emotion. He waited 2 more weeks, prepared every paper. Ron made extra copies of the report. Then one gray Thursday morning, Sarah was served with divorce papers at her work, her face pale in the break room under fluorescent light. At the same moment Ron met Bob's wife in a quiet cafe. He showed her everything. She said nothing for a long time, then folded the photos carefully and left. By evening the phone buzzed nonstop. Rumors spread across town. Bob's wife emptied their joint account, took the children to her parents' house. Her father called the office. Bob was fired before lunch the next day. The company car taken. Keys returned in silence. Their home belonged to her family. Bob was gone by the weekend. Weeks later police reports appeared online. Fights in the driveway, a broken nose, restraining orders, court filings public for anyone to read. Mark read once then closed the page. He felt no victory, only quiet order restored. His own divorce stayed calm. He spoke to Sarah only about the children, exchanged brief messages about school or holidays. Years passed and the distance widened. Lucy and Ben grew strong. Mark fixed things around the house alone. He slept without checking the odometer anymore. One autumn evening he opened Ron's old folder. The photos smelled of dust and time. Sarah's face half hidden by motel curtains. Bob's car parked crooked in the lot. Mark sat by the window. The neighborhood silent. Streetlights glowing through thin fog. He smiled slightly. Not from joy but understanding. Revenge had been clean, precise, deliberate. No shouting, no chaos. Only truth exposed at the right moment. He had turned betrayal into quiet control, pain into patience, and patience into peace. Outside the crickets hummed. The house stood still. Mark breathed slowly. He knew what it meant to rebuild alone. When someone destroys your trust, you do not scream. You prepare. You strike once, and never again.